As a result, he spends all day sorting silver coins, which I then have the guys pour into a different bucket and hand to the Harrison family. The stars of the hit TV show Pawn Stars have long been praised for their success, humor, and close-knit relationship on screen. But behind the interesting episodes and rare historical artifacts lies a web of dark secrets, legal disputes, and family tragedies that few could have imagined. Now, a series of shocking, their once perfect family image is slowly falling apart due to a series of scandals. From nasty lawsuits and property disputes to the sad death of a family member, the cracks in their foundation are becoming harder to ignore. On top of that, Rick Harrison's oldest son could go to jail because of a series of personal scandals. As the reality show's attention fades, the family's inner conflicts and tragedies seem to come to the fore more. What has caused the join us in today's video, as we reveal the truth about the Harrison family's rise and fall, and look at how these scandals are threatening to destroy their legacy. One family tragedy. The Harrison family, who were once praised for their success and unity through the gold and silver pawn shop, have been through a number of problems that have tested their strength and determination. Rick Harrison was a key figure in building the family's reputation. Along with Corey's best friend, Austin Chumley Russell, Rick's oldest son Corey "Big Hoss" Harrison became a famous character on Pawn Stars, loved for his humor and deep knowledge of pawn items. Russell's goofy antics and comedic moments brought charm and lightheartedness to the show. Not everyone in the Harrison family has sought the spotlight though. Adam Harrison, Rick's second son, chose a private life away from the cameras, and Rick's youngest son Jake Harrison joined the show in its 18th season and quickly showed his keen eye for detail by telling the difference between a real and fake Rolex on his first appearance. In addition to his sons, Rick has 3 daughters from a previous marriage, Kiana, Serena, and Marissa. While they are not involved in the family business, they are still important to the Harrison story. Rick often posts about how proud he is of his daughters and grandchildren on social media, which adds to the image of a close-knit and loving family. There are problems in the Harrison family's public image, from money problems to personal scandals. They are going through some of the hardest times in their history. Adam Harrison's death on January 19, 2024, was not only a terrible personal loss, but also a huge shock to the Harrison family and Pawn Stars fans all over the world. Adam, Rick's second son, lived a quiet life, staying out of the media and public eye. His shyness made his death even more heartbreaking. Adam Harrison died at age 39 from poisoning with fentanyl and methamphetamine. Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid 100 times stronger than morphine that has become a terrible crisis in the US, killing thousands of people every year. Just a tiny amount, less than 2 mgs, about the size of a grain of salt, is enough to kill. Adam's death is just one example of the ongoing opioid epidemic, but it left the Harrison family in a lot of pain and regret. Reports from law enforcement showed that Adam had been living in a guest house in Las Vegas during the last few months of his life. His behavior was becoming more and more erratic, and he often shut himself off by blocking doors with furniture and avoiding social interaction. Before he died, Adam posted on Facebook that he felt sick and would be isolating himself. It was his last message. Days later, when a tenant in the area couldn't reach Adam, they reported the situation. The property owner found Adam unconscious in bed, surrounded by drugs. Drug paraphernalia such as containers of illegal drugs, aluminum foil, and lighters. The scene was both a sobering reminder of the dangers of drug addiction and a stark representation of Adam's invisible struggles. In an interview after Adam's death, Rick Harrison spoke of his grief. "I can confirm that Adam died due to fentanyl poisoning. It's an indescribable loss. I hope this tragedy makes people realize how bad the fentanyl crisis is and take action to stop it." His words were both a reflection of his own grief and a call for people to pay attention to a bigger problem in society. He stressed that fentanyl not only destroys the lives of those who use it, but also their families, leaving loved ones as victims of a crisis they had no control over. What led Adam down this tragic path? According to those who knew him, Adam was a kind and ambitious person whose life took a turn after he got out of prison and had trouble reintegrating into society. The psychological pressures of his life. He may have turned to drugs as a way to escape his problems, which is a sad but common story in today's society. The fact that it happened to a member of a famous family like the Harrisons made it even more shocking. Adam's death also brought up questions about Rick Harrison's role as a father. Some critics said that Rick's focus on his business and Pawn Stars might have made him miss the warning signs in his son's life. Others said that Rick's focus on his son, that this tragedy shows that even families that seem perfect can be deeply affected by bigger problems in society, like the opioid crisis. Rick's obvious grief and his work to bring attention to the fentanyl epidemic showed that he wanted to use his own loss to make a point for change. But the tragedy also showed that fame and success can't protect a family from the harsh realities of addiction and loss. As the Harrison family struggled to deal with the tragic loss, there were two legal disputes between Rick Harrison and his mother. Of Adam, another problem arose involving Rick Harrison and his mother, Joanne Harrison. The legal dispute between the two not only hurt their family relationship but also put at risk the legacy that Gold and Silver Pawn Shop had built over more than 30 years. The case got a lot of attention from the media and the public, raising questions about how the famous family could stay together. The dispute started when Joanne Harrison, who is now 81 years old, filed a lawsuit against Rick Harrison, was sued by Joanne for allegedly taking advantage of her weakness to take over the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop. In the lawsuit, Joanne said that Rick got her to sign an agreement giving him 51% of the shop's ownership while she was having a serious health crisis in the early 2000s. She said she didn't fully understand what she was signing, and the agreement made her lose control of the family's legacy after her husband Richard Boldman Harrison died in 2018, inherited the remaining 49% ownership stake. But she said Rick didn't give her enough financial information to manage her share of the assets. In her lawsuit, Joanne asked the court to require Rick to give full financial transparency regarding the shop's operations. She also accused him of dishonestly managing the family's assets, saying that $500,000 in cash and silver had gone missing. Joanne asked for damages and a court order to stop Rick from further using the shop's assets. She also asked the court to set up a constructive trust to protect the things she said were hers. Rick Harrison denied all the accusations, saying they were completely false and had no basis in fact. He said that his mother was being used by others to get what they wanted. In a public statement, Rick said, "These accusations are not true. I believe my mother is being guided by others to attack me for their own purposes. I've tried reaching out to her for months without success, but the lawsuit quickly got worse when Joanne asked for a temporary restraining order against Rick. In her filing, Joanne said that Rick had stopped giving her $25,000 a month, which was part of her late husband's estate that she relied on for medical and living costs. Because her health was getting worse, Joanne needed 24/7 medical care that cost up to $115,000 a month, so losing this steady income put her in a tough financial spot. Joanne accused Rick of attempting to sell off family assets to avoid paying his mother's debts. Rick, on the other hand, was shocked by the restraining order request. He said he first heard about it in the news and hadn't been formally told by his mother. Rick also pointed out that one of the companies Joanne was suing was actually fully owned by her. This made the lawsuit even more complicated, as both sides made strong arguments and sharp responses. The lawsuit between Harrison and Joanne was not only a legal battle, but also a deep emotional wound for the Harrison family. They had been praised for their unity and success, but now the public saw their inner struggles. This hurt their reputation and put the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop at risk, which was a symbol of the family's history and an inspiration to millions of fans around the world. The lawsuit also raised questions about Joanne's true intentions. Was she really being manipulated by Harrison? As Rick said, was she trying to get back what she thought was hers, after years of being ignored? Some people thought that Rick, as the shop's manager and the face of Pawn Stars, may have become too focused on building his personal brand and neglected his duties to his family. Others, though, think Joanne was just trying to protect her interests as she got older and sicker. Whatever the real reasons were, the lawsuit caused a significant rift between the parties. It put Rick in a tough spot because he had to deal with both legal problems and public criticism. Fans of Pawn Stars were also let down because behind-the-scenes fights ruined the perfect image of the Harrison family they had once admired. The money dispute wasn't the only thing putting pressure on Rick Harrison. While he was trying to settle the lawsuit with his mother, other problems with family members, especially Corey Harrison, kept coming up. The fight between Rick and Joanne made things even harder for Rick, who was already dealing with the effects of Joanne's lawsuit. In the end, it showed how weak family ties can be when there are disagreements about money and business. It also cast a shadow over the future of the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop, making people wonder if the Harrison family could keep up their legacy amidst internal turmoil. The store and Pawn Star were symbols of their success, so the outcome of this for Corey Harrison's problems. Corey Big Hose Harrison, the eldest son of Rick Harrison, has been a familiar face to Pawn Stars viewers for a long time. With his straightforward personality, sense of humor, and important role in running the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop, Corey quickly became one of the most loved characters on the show. But behind the image of a successful businessman and possible heir to the family legacy, Corey has been having a lot of problems. Corey Harrison has had a lot of personal and legal problems that have hurt his reputation, and the reputation of the Harrison family. One of the most important personal events in his life was his divorce from Karina Kiki Harrison in 2018. Corey and Karina were once a popular couple who often showed affection on social media and at events. However, after only 1 year of marriage, they decided to end their relationship. They announced their separation in August 2018, with both citing the main reason they broke up was irreconcilable differences in lifestyle and work schedules. Corey said that running the gold and silver pawn shop, filming for Pawn Stars and dealing with his fame made it hard for him to spend enough time with his family. In a statement released after the divorce, Corey said, "Karina and I love each other very much, but our work schedules are completely different. This created a huge gap between us, and despite our best efforts we couldn't overcome it. However, we remain friends and wish each other well." Sources say that Karina, who worked in the healthcare industry at the time, found it hard to balance her career and family life with Corey's busy schedule. Even though they both said they wanted to keep a good relationship after the divorce, the situation got a lot of attention from the media and led to rumors about Corey's personal life. The divorce wasn't just the end of a relationship, it also showed how hard it was for Corey to balance his personal life with the demands of his job. It wasn't the first time Corey had problems in his relationships. Before marrying Karina, he was married for 10 years to Charlene Harrison, his high school sweetheart. The couple divorced in 2015, citing work problems and the distance caused by their different lifestyles. Court records also show that the divorce from Karina caused Corey financial problems. Reports say Corey had to pay a large amount to settle issues related to shared assets. While the couple's finances were not made public, some sources say that Corey spent over $250,000 to finalize the divorce. Celebrities often have failed relationships, but for Corey they have made his public image even more complicated. He used to be seen as the famous son of Rick Harrison, but now he's seen as someone with a chaotic personal life who can't keep his relationships stable. These events have not only hurt Corey's reputation, but they have also raised questions about his character. There are concerns about Corey Harrison's ability to carry on the family tradition, especially since he has been involved in a number of other controversies. One of his most famous incidents happened at the Murray Saloon in Erie, a popular bar in Big Bear Lake, California. While out with friends, Corey got into a heated argument with another patron, which, according to detailed police reports, quickly turned physical. Bar security and an off-duty sheriff's deputy tried to calm things down. While Corey was being questioned, he was accused of not cooperating and pushing both the security staff and the deputy. He was arrested right away and charged with assault and resisting law enforcement. He was taken to a local police station and detained for several hours before being released on bail. Even though the charges were minor, the incident quickly became public and Corey was criticized by many for his behavior at the bar, especially since he was a public figure. After he got out of jail, Corey didn't publicly apologize or say he was sorry for anything. Instead, his lawyer said that Corey didn't think he had done anything wrong and wouldn't apologize. Corey himself said that the media had blown the incident out of proportion and that he was just defending himself in a high-stress situation. But this didn't make people feel better. The incident badly hurt Corey's reputation. He used to be seen as a funny and loyal member of the Harrison family. Corey started to be linked to legal problems and bad behavior. Fans of Pawn Stars were upset that a prominent member of the Harrison family could do things that hurt their well-deserved reputation. In late 2021, Corey was involved in another scandal involving the rental and damage of an. Reports say that Corey rented an RV from William Villafana through the ArbShare platform for a 3-day trip to the California desert, but when he returned it, it was in a Villafana. The owner of the RV said that Corey returned it in a badly damaged state, far worse than what would be expected from a short trip. The RV had dents in the outside, destroyed interiors, and a floor covered in trash, like broken vodka bottles and eggs. The estimated damages were $30,000. This included $8,000 for body repairs and $7,000 for replacing the awning. Villafana also said that he had to cancel 10 future reservations because of Corey's damage, which cost him a lot of money. However, Corey responded by saying that the RV had technical problems that made it useless, so he had to hire a tow truck to bring it back to Las Vegas. He also said that he had bought insurance for the vehicle, but Villafana accused Corey of not taking full responsibility for the damage, which made more people angry. In September 2023, Corey Harrison was arrested in Las Vegas on suspicion of driving while impaired, DUI. Officers saw Corey's Ford F-250 swerving on the road and even entering a bike lane, endangering other drivers. When they approached the car, they said Corey's eyes looked bloodshot and there was a strong smell of alcohol coming from it. Corey was asked to do a field sobriety test, which he failed, which is usually a clear sign of drunk driving. Corey denied being drunk, saying that he couldn't stand because of a foot infection from a recent filming trip in Rhode Island. Officers also found that the breathalyzer wasn't working right, so they asked Corey to give a blood sample for testing. The results of the blood test weren't available right away, so the case wasn't solved at the time. Corey Harrison's personal and legal problems have hurt his career and public image, and they've also cast a shadow over the Harrison family's legacy. While Rick Harrison is still in court with his mother over Adam's death, Corey's actions have been remembered. These events have put more stress on the family and bring up bigger questions about how the Harrison family deals with problems within itself and keeps everyone united. As the possible heir to the gold and silver pawn shop, Corey needs to show that he can get over his problems and become a trustworthy leader. However, his recent controversies have made this goal harder to reach. While Corey works to solve his personal problems, the Harrison family continues to face bigger problems, like legal disputes, and there are problems with money and public trust, which make people wonder about the future of the gold and silver pawn shop, and the family's ability to keep their legacy alive in a world that is becoming less stable. 5 other controversies and scandals involving the Harrison family. The Harrison family has been through personal tragedies and legal battles within the family, as well as many other controversies and scandals. These events have had a big effect on their public image and put them under a lot of media scrutiny. Many people used to think that the Harrison family was a model of success and family unity. In 2012, a Vietnam War veteran named Daniel Callahan sued Rick Harrison and his father Richard Oldman Harrison, saying that they had assaulted him at the gold and silver pawn shop. This shocked fans of Pawn Stars and badly damaged the family's reputation. Callahan said that he brought a Model 96B rifle to the shop to be appraised and sold. The conversation quickly turned into a heated argument between him and the Harrisons. Callahan said that Rick and Richard assaulted him inside the shop. Specifically, he said that they put him in a chokehold, dragged him across the store without control, and then threw him out onto the sidewalk, hurting him physically and emotionally. The situation was made even worse by the fact that Callahan needed a cane to walk because of injuries he got in the Vietnam War. He said that the Harrisons' actions hurt him emotionally and physically. Following more physical harm, Callahan sued the Harrison family in Clark County District Court, seeking $20,000 in damages for medical bills, emotional distress, and legal fees. The Harrison family refused to comment publicly on the matter, which made people even more interested and skeptical about Callahan's claims. Some people supported Callahan, saying that attacking a war veteran, especially one with health problems, was immoral. Others, though, supported the Harrisons and said Callahan may have fabricated the story to take advantage of the family's fame. Details about the lawsuit remain scarce, and the Harrisons didn't present any evidence to publicly defend themselves. This turned the lawsuit into a major controversy that severely damaged Rick and Richard's reputations. The Harrisons were known for their direct and sometimes rude business style, which made the accusations of violence difficult for them and led many fans to question their loyalty. In 2014, the Harrison family was involved in another scandal, when a collection of rare coins worth $50,000 was stolen and sold to their store. Jennifer Beckman, the granddaughter of the collection's rightful owner David Walters, brought the valuable coins to the gold and silver pawn shop 3 times. In total, she only got $1,375, which is a very small amount of the collection's real value. When Walters realized that his collection was missing, he called the shop, but was told that they would not return the coins. Find out that the coins were melted down not long after being. A representative for Gold and Silver Pawn Shop said that this was how the store usually dealt with coins that didn't have much value as a collectible. However, Walters said that his collection contained rare coins, like a $3,000 1903 St. Gaudens coin, that should have been handled with more care. This incident led to widespread criticism of the shop's appraisal and asset management processes, leading many to question the Harrison family's honesty and responsibility in handling valuable items brought into their store. In 2015, Rick Harrison caused another controversy when he publicly supported Marco Rubio, a Republican presidential candidate. Rick didn't hold back when he spoke his mind about politics, which caused strong reactions from the public. Most notably, Rick made a controversial statement about transgender bathroom rights, saying that he thought policies that let transgender people use men who use bathrooms that match their gender identity could be taken advantage of by predatory men. This statement caused a huge backlash, and some viewers decided not to watch Pawn Stars anymore. Rick tried to explain that he was just worried about public safety, but the comments hurt his reputation and the Pawn Stars brand for a long time. In 2013, the Writers Guild of America East, WGAE, surveyed the production team behind Pawn Stars and found that they were among those. The report said that writers and producers of the show were paid at least $2,136 per week, which is much less than the average wage for scripted TV shows. These claims not only caused outrage in the entertainment industry, but also hurt the credibility of Pawn Stars. Critics said that the Harrison family, as the faces of the show, should be responsible for making sure that the production team was treated fairly. The Harrisons didn't respond to these accusations, which disappointed the public even more. The above events have not only hurt the Harrison family's reputation but also Pawn Stars' image. From lawsuits with customers to controversies over business ethics and political views, the Harrisons have faced a lot of criticism from the public. These scandals have not only made people less trusting of them but also raised serious questions about how they run their business and follow their values. The Harrison family has kept running the gold and silver pawn shop and making Pawn Stars, even though they've been under a lot of pressure from legal battles and public scandals. These events have made people worry about the future of the family and the store, as well as their ability to deal with problems and keep the legacy they've built over more than 30 years. The public has long looked up to the Harrison family as a model of success and unity, but now they face some of the hardest problems of their lives. The tragic death of Adam Harrison, the legal battles between Rick Harrison and his mother Joanne Harrison, and Corey Harrison's personal scandals and other public scandals, have all painted a complicated picture of a family that millions of fans used to think was perfect. The death of Adam Harrison not only left a big hole in the family, but it also served as a wake-up call about bigger problems in society, like the opioid crisis that is destroying America. Rick Harrison has tried to turn this pain into something positive. This tragedy brings attention to the problem and urges action. It also shows that even famous and successful people can face life's hardest challenges. The legal battle between Rick and his mother Joanne Harrison raises important questions about family values and how problems within the family are handled. Even though Rick denies the accusations and says his mother was manipulated, the lawsuit has broken up what was thought to be a strong family bond. This is not just a fight over assets, it's also a test of the Harrison family's unity during this difficult time. Corey Harrison's personal scandals, like the bar fight, the incident with the rented RV, and his DUI arrest, have changed how people see him. He used to be a beloved TV star, but now he faces criticism and a lot of public pressure. These actions have not only hurt Corey's personal image, but they have also made it hard for Rick to be a father and a leader of the family. Other controversies include lawsuits from customers and claims that he abused his power at work. The conditions in which Pawn Stars was made continue to damage the families and the legitimacy of the show. These events have not only did this disappoint fans, but it also hurt the reputation of the gold and silver pawn shop, which the Harrison family has built as a symbol of success over the past 30 years. Despite all the problems and stress, the Harrison family remains a symbol of strength. They have been through golden years when Pawn Stars had huge successes, and the gold and silver pawn shop became famous all over the world. But their fame has come with a lot of problems, including internal conflicts and personal struggles. Will the Harrison family be able to get through all of these problems and keep their legacy alive? The answer is still unknown, but one thing is for sure. Their story, from the ups and downs of business to personal tragedies and public scandals, has given us a more real look into life behind the glamour of reality TV. This is not just a story about a famous family, it's also a story about struggle, loss. The Harrison family, with all of their strengths, weaknesses, and problems, continues to show people how to deal with problems. We don't know where their journey will take them in the future, but their story has touched the hearts of fans all over the world. And, no matter how Pawn Stars or the legacy of the gold and silver pawn shop ends, the Harrison family has written one of the most dramatic chapters in the history of pawn shops. We can share your thoughts in the comments section below. Do you still trust the Harrison family and the gold and silver pawn shop? Or do you think these scandals have destroyed their reputation? If you liked the video, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our new videos. Thanks for watching all the way to the end, and see you next time.